It's been a year of terrorism, cyber attacks and high-profile assault cases nationally. But crime concerns among Cumbrians appear to sit closer to home, with speeding cars, dangerous drivers and burglars ranking as the top three worries. Drug dealing, vandalism and the protection of vulnerable people were the worries following closest behind in a survey carried out for the county force. Among the issues a lot further down the rankings were modern slavery, terrorism and child abuse. Criminal damage is of more concern than children being abused. These last three are all key priorities for policing in 2017, a point made at a meeting of county crime fighting's top brass. Cumbria's crime commissioner suggested because people were not openly exposed to these threats, they did not perceive them as such a problem. Senior officers also pointed out how people were unaware of some of the major issues affecting even a mainly rural patch like Cumbria. Assistant Chief Constable Mark Webster said criminal damage is of more concern than children being abused. That is the public perception. People taking part in the survey were asked to think about where they live and list their top 5 concerns. They were given the choice of a series of 25 crime types or potential threats. Speeding vehicles were listed by 51% of people, dangerous driving got a tick from 37%, and your home being broken into was a concern to 36%. At the bottom, your business being broken into was a worry for more than 4%, modern slavery and human trafficking was listed by 2%, and illegal surveillance was a concern for just 1%. In the middle were issues such as robbery, disorder involving mobs of people and dangerous offenders. Mr. Webster talked about the key worries, stating it's speeding vehicles and dangerous driving, homes being broken into, drug dealing, criminal damage. On the other side you have child abuse, people trafficking. They're really low. Peter McCall, crime commissioner, said because they are not exposed to it, they don't recognize it is happening and it's not on the radar. Superintendent Rob O'Connor, South Cumbria's most senior officer, said he had hosted community groups in Barrow at the town's station. He told the meeting he had mentioned issues such as teenage drug mules being used to bring substances into the county. Supt. O'Connor said he was asked that happens in Cumbria. In the survey, more than half of those taking part said they were not aware of efforts made to tackle cybercrime, modern slavery, human trafficking and child exploitation. This was only slightly better for drugs trafficking, where just under half were not aware of what police were doing. The force has in recent months revamped neighborhood policing. Responsibilities have been redrawn, with Carlisle, Eden, Allerdale, Copeland, Barrow and the South Lakes patches having their own leader. Mr. McCall added, I do think our refocusing on neighborhood police teams helps to make it clear we are addressing these issues. Martin Plummer is the chairman of Cumbria Police Federation, the organization representing rank-and-file officers. Speaking after the meeting, he said in one respect the fact people were more concerned about so-called less serious crimes could be seen as a mark of success. We are so good at the work we are doing on serious crime that the only things that concern them are more minor areas of public order and public concern, he said. But he added there was frustration from officers due to reduction in numbers, that they were unable to interact with their community, thereby looking more at neighborhood issues. That is purely and simply down to the number of officers, the number of staff and the lack of resources as a result of funding, said Mr. Plummer. Speeding vehicles 51%, dangerous driving 37%, your home broken into 36%, drug dealing 34%, criminal damage 33%, protecting vulnerable people 27%, violent crime 25%, car crime 25%, drunken rowdy behavior 24%, rural crime 23%, robbery 21%, disorder involving groups of people 21%, dangerous offenders 18%, online fraud 16%, domestic violence 16%, child abuse 15%, drug trafficking 10%, hate crime 9%, harassment 8%, terrorism 7%, selling or giving alcohol to underage people 4%, other 4%, your business being broken into 4%, modern slavery and human trafficking 2%, surveillance 1%. 4 out of 5 people said the police had their support and respect. More than 96% of people felt safe in their own home during the day and 91% did so at night. 93% felt safe out and about in the neighborhood during the day, while 74% did at night. More than 3/4 of people said they felt confident they could access police services in an emergency, higher than the national average of 72%. But only 57% of people said they felt confident they could access police services in a non-emergency. There are currently plans in Cumbria to upgrade the delay hit 101 system. This non-emergency number has been hit by complaints about people facing long waiting times. Mr. Webster said on this figure, the problem we have is 101. Mr. McCall said the 101 service had got much better recently. He added, I don't expect we will see the public instantly acknowledging that because there is a certain amount of legacy. On the safety figures, Mr. Webster said feelings of safety are generally high. People in Cumbria feel safe. More than 1,540 people took part. Feedback was said to be fairly evenly distributed across North, South and West Cumbria. Slightly more women, 56%, responded than men, 44%. A higher proportion of older people responded to the survey, with the majority aged between 45 and 74. Nearly all those responding were classed as white British. The majority of respondents said they were heterodal, 92%. 3/4 of those taking part said they lived with other people. More than 60% said they lived in a city or town. Over 80% said they owned their property outright, or with a mortgage. Nearly a quarter considered themselves to have some form of disability or substantial medical condition, the majority stating it was physical. In September, the force redrafted its organization of neighborhood policing. This provided area inspectors that chiefs say will bring the force closer to the community. Responsibilities were redrawn, with Carlisle, Eden, Allerdale, Copeland, Borough and the South Lakes patches having their own leader. Previously, inspectors had responsibility for a wider area geographically, as well as for the patrol side of policing. They covered areas designated as North, West and South Cumbria. The force says the dedicated neighborhood inspectors will allow officers to focus more on community issues and problems. There has previously been criticism that neighborhood policing might suffer in the wake of budget cuts.